It's time for round 2 of the shop update and organization video. I'm going to show you the loft that I've already done. I'm going to show you the existing mess, and then I'll show you how we fix it. Check it out. We'll start here. It's the loft. You'll have already seen that in the loft build video, but this is the finished product with the electrical underneath and the bench. So now the next step is I'm going to extend the loft all the way down to about here, about 3 foot off the wall. That way I've got all that extra storage up there and it's not wasted, but it'll be much more organized, and I can take all of this stuff on the ground, figure out what to do with it, and I'll have an open shop so I can add more useful tables and welding tables and plasma cutting tables and what have you. The clamp wall will get redone after the loft is already built, and we're just going to move everything out of here and get to work.
This is the result of moving into an old house, immediately starting to renovate for about the first 2 years, not caring what the shop looked like, but still working in the shop. And it was finally time to make some changes. So it's really nice to see the shop floor for the first time since we moved in. And that table and the bandsaw were pretty heavy, but Laura did a great job helping me move it.
We have the section cleaned up now, and we're going to start framing out the loft, but I'll show you what it looks like all cleaned up. It hasn't been this clean since we moved in 2.5 years ago. Check it out. I'll be extending this loft 18 feet from here all the way down to just about where the clamps are. So that'll be about 18 feet, and then for the clamps I'll run the 2x6 back and mount the clamps back where they are. But look at the cleanliness and all the stuff. But making way for organization.
Here we're bringing in all the lumber. And on the loft extension part 2, I did the same with the post support beams, where I sandwiched or sistered two 2x4s together. So the 2x6 had a 2x4 to rest on, and it was also nailed to the inside 2x4. So all the weight was bearing down on the upper support post instead of nails. I figured that was a better structural support. And then for the brackets, I did the exact same. And you'll see it in a little bit that I did on the loft one, where they're just support brackets to keep the loft anchored into the building, but not structural support.
All right, we're breaking for lunch now. I'll show you how far we are, and then after lunch we'll come back and really hit it. Not much to see other than we've got most of the poles made up, the braces. Shout out to RR Buildings and Kyle, because we've been watching a lot of Kyle. Stumping Horse. If you don't know that guy, you got to check him out. But Kyle's the man when it comes to post framing. And this makes me feel like I'm doing a little post framing. I wanted to show you these mounting brackets. This isn't for structure or any sort of load bearing. It's just to keep the loft exactly where it's supposed to be. So I just cut some angle iron, welded it to my steel frame of the building, and then made the bracket. It's just angle iron and flat bar welded together. Pretty sweet.
It's time to build the skeletal structure of the loft. Laura and I just kind of went with the flow and built it as we were going. And so we stumbled on this first section, but the second section got much better. We definitely learned some things, and we built this sweet loft. But I did 2 foot on center on the joist here because it was only a 32-inch span, and this isn't going to bear hardly the weight that the first loft was. And since it's not that big of a span, I thought about 32-inch joists were pretty good. So that first section is 8 feet, the second section is 10 feet, and I'm getting the second bracket welded in here, and that really snugged everything up, and then the plywood decking really tied everything together, and it's a really fun build. About to break for lunch here.
Okay, it's currently 5:20, and we have made some significant progress. We have got the extended loft, which is 3 feet coming out from the wall, and anchored in. This is a sistered 10-foot run of two 2x6 by 10s, so I don't have to have a middle support. Someone's really wanting to talk to me, but just getting ready to do the gussets, then we'll put the plywood up and we'll be in business. Day 2 of the loft extension. Yesterday we were able to get most of the bones put together. As you can see, I have one piece of plywood on the top. It's actually OSB, so it's 1932 OSB. But today is when we finish this up, put up some shelves, and start really digging deep into the organization. So check it out.
Day 2, I've got all the plywood up. I actually lost footage of me doing all the gussets. The video file was corrupted, but you didn't miss much. I'm just cutting all the plywood, the OSB decking here, and that really tied everything together. The OSB decking, I'm not a framer, but it was insane how structurally sound it made everything. It was a little wobbly even with the on the end here, even with the mounting brackets, but that OSB tied everything together. And you see we've moved the clamp wall over already. I was going to extend it out beyond the loft, but I decided to keep it under there for now. So everything's all gusseted up and we're building some shelves now. A lot of Canes cans.
Day 2 on the loft extension build. I want to show you what we got done, and as you can see, it's a lot, so check it out. We'll start right here. Clamp wall. The clamps used to be right there. As you can see, it used to be right there. Now they're here. Next, the toolbox has a placeholder for the plasma cutter that is coming. So I have plasma cutter, compressor, MIG, and TIG welder. And then we're going to have all kinds of shelf storage here, and we can really build that out. And then Old Faithful here. Let me give you a view from this area. Not bad. Really coming along.
So the bottom shelves are going in now. The toolbox is not going to stay there. Once the plasma cutter comes in, that will get moved, and the plasma cutter and the compressor will go there. So I can kind of run air lines and make that a nice little station. Keep it out of the way, but still stored. And these shelves are about 12 to 14 inches deep, just depending on what scrap I had. And all the Canes cans are going to hold miscellaneous screws and bolts and nuts and stuff. And that upper storage is really a lifesaver because I've got a lot of stuff and it just needed to go somewhere.
All right, so the loft, part 1 and part 2 has been constructed, and now I'm in the process of just putting things where they need to be, building shelves. So we've got a little bit of clutter, but it's nothing like it was before. I'll give you a final walkthrough video once all the shelves are done, but that'll be in a couple weeks. But right now I want to give you a tour of what we built, how much storage space I added to the shop, and give you a quick little peek. I've got my clamps, my welder, plasma cutter that's coming on the way. My welder and plasma cutter will go in here. Toolbox will get moved. The air compressor that's coming will get moved. Will go there. I'll run some air line. But I've got 18 feet of storage here, and then the main loft space that I built, I added LED lights underneath. We put these shelves in here for some extreme storage. But everything turned out really well, and it's a brand new shop. It's a completely new work environment, and I'm very excited. Well, thanks for watching the shop organization build series and these videos I've been doing, the loft build and the cleaning and the lumber wall. If you like what you saw, please subscribe to the channel. I'll be putting out a bunch more projects in the near future, and leave a comment down below, like the video, hit the bell notification, all that really helps me. And until next time, thanks for checking it out.